Today, we're looking at a purple ink by Atramentis Aubergine. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. There's timestamps down below so that you can skip around, but if you got the time, I would appreciate if you check out the entire video. Also, if you're interested, you can check me out over on Instagram, and if you're new here and like fountain pen inks, I would invite you to subscribe. In order to make sure I have a range of experience with this ink, I do the writing samples. I then put the ink into this cross Bailey with a medium nib. I used it to write for a day, and then I used it to take the notes for this video. In order to have some standardization, I always use Clairfontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper in the first writing samples, although there is an additional writing sample with different papers later in the video. Now, let's look at the writing sample. I picked this ink up in sample form, so it came in a vial like this. And to keep my writing samples consistent, I use a Jinhao 159 with a Goulet 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a Goulet medium, and a Jinhao X750 with a Goulet extra fine. Let's take a look at the Clairfontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 is no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. Extra fine is a bit lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, and 12 seconds to dry. Medium is darker than the extra fine, same tone as the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, and 20 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show us no color variation, and we didn't get any. Tomoe River. No bleeding, normal Tomoe River ghosting. The 1.1 is no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. Extra fine is a little lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, and 16 seconds to dry. Medium is darker than the extra fine, same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, and 27 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show us no color variation, and we didn't get any. And Rhodia. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. Extra fine is a little lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, and 13 seconds to dry. Medium is darker than the extra fine, same tone as the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 21 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show us no color variation, and we didn't get any. I agree with Vita. I've learned a lot by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. I put a line of ink down and immediately put it into water for 10 to 15 seconds. And we see this slightly green leaning gray on the bottom. And that line on the bottom is really sinking in there quite quickly before the rest pushes up and we get this very bright purple that works its way much darker. Now it's bright because it's very watered down at that point. The one on the right, I let dry for 10 minutes before I dunk it into water. And the green lean, yes, green lean. Tough to say. In that gray is a little more apparent there, and it's really sinking in and not moving from the water. And the purple pushes up as it did before, really unchanged. But I'm really expecting to see that greenish gray stick around. Resistance tests are done to see how well this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it might be to clean from your pen. I let the smear dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, it's the lowercase h that makes me say I would not use this in a note-taking situation. Now, water only moves a little bit of the ink, not really a whole lot of it. And pen flush does start to break up that that purple and get it out of the way, but it's really leaving that greenish gray underneath. That is not budging. Now the 1/3 bleach solution, it does completely remove it. It did slightly stain the page. I did have to use the 1/3 bleach solution to get this out of my pen, but I put it through the pen very quickly in and immediately back out, flushed it with water, and it was done. So it only took a second of that bleach being in my pen to make it completely go away. I test viscosity or flow with a thing called a tilt test. I'll link it somewhere down below or up in the cards. Now, for the inks I've tested, I have found an average viscosity of 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Atramentis Aubergine has a viscosity of 2.21, making it normal. To find my average dry times, I use my writing samples, and for the inks I've tested, I found an average dry time of 17 seconds, with a realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. The Atramentis Aubergine has an average dry time of 18 seconds, making it still normal. Instead of finding inks that look like the Atramentis Aubergine, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. Now this is a dark purple, and I really wanted to go with a black ink with it. I chose Robert Oster's Green Black. The second writing sample are done on Life, Viscosity, and Franklin Christoph paper. Here we're looking at Life paper. Now we get no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 is no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine, as with the last samples, it's lighter than it is with the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, and 10 seconds to dry. Medium is darker than the extra fine, same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, and 15 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation, and we're not getting any. How about Viscosity notebooks? We get no bleeding, no real show through. The 1.1 is no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, and 7 seconds to dry. Medium is darker than the extra fine, same tone as the stub. No feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, and 11 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show no color variation, and we didn't get any. Last up is Franklin Christoph paper. Now we do get a bunch of bleed spots that's going on. We do get a bunch of show through occurring, largely because it's just getting so deep into the paper, but it is not coming all the way through the paper, touching the page underneath. The 1.1 does have a ton of tiny feathering all over it, especially look at the Atramentis and you can see it. It's got no spread, halo sheen, no shade. Extra fine is a little lighter than the stub. It does have some feathering, tiny feathering, like you look at the word quick and you can see it. You look at the beginning of brown, you can see it. The word over, you can see it. There's no spread, halo sheen, no shade. 6 seconds to dry. Medium, same tone as the stub. Feathering all over it. This paper did not like this ink. All tiny feathers the whole way through. No spread, halo sheen, no shade, 9 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both shows us no color variation, and we didn't get any, and that is all that I have for the writing sample. So what do I think of Atramentis Puccini or Aubergine? This is a really interesting purple that truly does speak to me as a color. I really enjoy it. I enjoy it enough that it might replace my favorite purple, Monteverde Lavender, to where I may go to this instead. This is fantastic. It's not a standout shader, but its tone is absolutely fantastic. So what nib and pen is going to give the best writing experience? As this is a darker purple, I still prefer to use a wet medium or wet broad to really put that ink down and see that beautiful dark purple that's here. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and if it's your first time here, I'm going to remind you, if you enjoyed it, subscribe. Thanks for watching.